There is now just a few days left of the transfer window, with English clubs having until 5 p.m. on Thursday, August 9th to get any deals done ahead of the new season. So far it's been a productive summer for Arsenal, with 5 new faces coming through the door in North London as Unai Emery and head of recruitment Sven Mislintat look to rebuild the squad left behind by Arsene Wenger. Stephan Lichtsteiner was the first to arrive and has since been followed by Bernd Leno, Sokratis, Torreira and Matteo Guendouzi. Emery has stated in recent weeks that he is happy with his squad, but has also suggested that Arsenal will look to get other business done before deadline day, should the opportunity arise for the right player. So with the deadline edging ever closer, we take a look at what still needs to be done at Arsenal, and what questions need to be answered before the window shuts once again until January. The wide attacker situation on the whole, Arsenal fans are happy with how the transfer window has gone this summer. The club identified areas that needed strengthening and moved quickly to bring players in and get them embedded in the squad. But there is one position that hasn't been strengthened where Arsenal certainly look a little light, and that is in the wide attacking areas. Ousmane Dembele and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang during their Dortmund days. Image, Christoph Stasch, AFP, Getty Images. Against Chelsea last Wednesday night, Emery originally lined up with a 3-man attack, but with Mesut Ozil and Henrikh Mkhitaryan on either side of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 2 players who both like to cut inside. Emery is known to like a 4-2-3-1 system, but he certainly lacks at least one natural wide player to use that formation properly at Arsenal. There have been several players linked this window who could fill that position, most notably Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona, who Mislintat would love to bring to the Emirates. Barcelona insists that Dembele is going nowhere, but the arrival of Malcolm is just another player who could block the France international's path to a regular starting spot at the Camp Nou. Whether Arsenal can take advantage of that situation in the final few days of the window is doubtful. Will loan move the only real possibility due to the price tag that Dembele would command? But you do just feel that, should Emery and Mislintat want to round off the window perfectly, adding some natural width and flair to their attacking options would be the icing on the cake. Moving players on. A lot of Arsenal's focus during the final week of the window is going to be directed at getting players out of the club, although it has to be remembered that players can be sold to clubs across Europe until the end of August, as their transfer window stays open longer than it does in England. Lucas Perez in pre-season training at London Colney. Image, Stuart McFarlane, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. There are several players who have no real futures at the Emirates who Arsenal would like to move on, such as Joel Campbell, Lucas Perez, Chuba Akpom, David Ospina and Carl Jenkinson. Having brought in 5 players already this summer, Arsenal have only let Jeff Adelaide leave. The squad is far too big, and the club is well aware that they now need to find new clubs for a number of their fringe players. Finding a solution to Ramsey's contract impasse with just a few days remaining of the transfer window, we are still no closer to finding a solution to the Aaron Ramsey situation. The Wales international is a key man at the Emirates, and a player who Emery sees as vital to his plans going forward. But with Ramsey now into the final year of his contract, the club could look to move him on before Thursday if he doesn't agree to the new 5-year deal that is on the table for him. Emery was asked about the situation following the game with Chelsea in Dublin and admitted that ultimately the decision over Ramsey's future rests with the club, not him. "I think this is a question for the club and for the player," said Emery. "My opinion is clear, I want him to be with us. But that is a question for continuing the conversation with the player and the club." Aaron Ramsey with the captain's armband in Singapore. Image, David Price, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. "My opinion is that he's a professional and he's in the team. He's the type of player I want in this team. But the contract is one thing only for the club and the player. Arsenal's campaign was disrupted massively last season by the contract situations with Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Özil. They can't afford to let the same thing happen again with Aaron Ramsey, so a decision has to be taken one way or another in the next few days, with Chelsea monitoring the situation. Replacing Ramsey. If Ramsey is sold, possibly to Chelsea, then Arsenal will have to look to bring in a replacement before the end of the window. Steven Nzonzi is a player who Emery knows well and is available, but while Ramsey is still at the club, he is not a priority. Should Ramsey move on, however, there is a very good chance that Arsenal will look to get a deal done for Nzonzi before Thursday's deadline. Roma are also pushing for the France international, but Emery will hope his relationship with the World Cup winner will put him on pole position, should he make a move for the Sevilla man. Nzonzi is far from a like-for-like replacement for Ramsey, but his arrival would certainly beef up the midfield options on offer at the Emirates. Barcelona have also been linked with Ramsey, with some suggesting some sort of swap deal involving Ousmane Dembele could be explored, but that remains highly unlikely. Making a decision on Welbeck. Just like Aaron Ramsey, Danny Welbeck is now into the final year of his contract. There is interest in the England international, with Everton one of the clubs keeping tabs on his situation. Danny Welbeck. Image, Mike Hewitt, FIFA via Getty Images. Welbeck returned to London Colney on Monday following his summer break, just 4 days before the end of the window. Eddie Nketiah has provided backup to Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang so far this pre-season, and Arsenal must decide whether they believe the teenager is ready to be the club's third-choice striker. If the answer is yes, then Arsenal could decide to sell Welbeck before Thursday's deadline, given he is not expected to be offered a new deal at the Emirates. Keep up to date with the latest news, features and exclusives from Football London via the free Football London app for iPhone and Android. Available to download from the App Store and Google Play.